Hey everybody, this is Scoots here, and this message is for super fans, super listeners only. Only those people who listen all night long and fall asleep fast in particular, or you've been listening to the show for years, or you listen 4, 5, 6, 7 nights a week. I'm just wondering during this season of gratitude if you're grateful for what Sleep With Me does in your life. I'm grateful to know I'm helping people out there who can't sleep just like I didn't, or people that can't sleep or just having a hard time in the deep, dark night. But what is it about Sleep With Me you're grateful for? Go ahead, think about it. And would you miss that thing if it's gone? Like all the episodes of the show, me as the host, the show coming out 3 nights a week, new content, a variety of content, hour-plus episodes. Would you miss some of those things if they were gone? Do you think that would impact that thing you're so grateful for? The rest, the comfort, the friendship, the companionship, the distraction, the reliability? If you are, please consider supporting the show right now in this moment. We need you to support the podcast, because if you do, if you're the one person, and this is not a joke, like only one person's going to support the show tonight, and it's more than likely it's going to be 0 people. So are you the one person that's going to sign up and support the show because you're thankful for it? Because you're grateful for what it has done for you? If you're grateful for the show and you don't want to have to miss it, it'll be around if you support it. If 0 people support it, it's going to be tough. If you're the one person who supports the show tonight, that means the show will probably be around. It is a paradox because it's going to be either 0 or 1, and you get to decide. Thanks.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to take a trip into the past, into the autumnal. It's just so funny. I thought there was only one way to pronounce autumnal, but apparently my brain feels like there's multiple ways. Autumnal. I don't know what I was even saying. I could just hear in my brain, not in my voice. But we're heading to Universal Orlando for some past autumnal joy with the weekend and so much more. This will be Scoots voiced and not Ray voiced. I'll be walking through a trip from a year or 2 ago to Universal Orlando for their celebration of autumn. So fun, so snoozy and sleepy. So if you've ever wanted to see a concept based on a concept album conceptually presented in a sleepy way, you're in luck, because it's time for Sleep With Me. The podcast, it's here. It's here to put you to sleep, but the way we do it is I keep you company. Let you know you deserve a good night's sleep. You do. You deserve a bedtime you could look forward to, or at least feel neutral about. A bedtime you don't have to dread. And while this podcast doesn't work for everybody, I'm here to be your friend in the deep, dark night and keep you company while you fall asleep, to take your mind off of stuff. Now, I'm the kind of friend it does take some getting used to. We don't become friends right away. Most listeners say, most reviewers, it takes 2 or 3 tries. But I'm here to help. I'm here to be like, give me a call. Like, it's like you're giving me a call. You already called. Thanks for calling, by the way. So good to be good. From here on out, I'll just be talking for your benefit. But thanks for calling me up. It's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast. Oh, what's going to happen is first there's, after this is like a warm up here. Then there's going to be some support. That's how we get this show out free twice a week. Then there'll be a long meandering intro to ease you into bedtime. And then later on, we'll be talking about Lil Boo and everybody over at the Autumnal Joy of Adventure, whatever they call it at Universal, AAJ or whatever. It has 3 initials, but it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. And these sponsors are what enable me to do it for free twice a week. Hey, everybody, it's Scoots. If you're a Sleep With Me Plus supporter and you're hearing this, you're listening to the ad-supported feed of the podcast, and that means you have not set your table for your holiday celebrations. You know, this is the holiday season, time for Thanksgiving and thinking about what we're grateful for. And I'm telling you, you'll be so grateful and so thankful you set up your Sleep With Me Plus content because it's designed with you, the super listener, in mind. And you want to put all that content in one place, not a music app, not the podcast app you listen to your daytime podcasts in. Pick a podcast app and just put your Sleep With Me Plus content only in there. It's going to change your listening for the show. It's going to make it so much easier to pick your favorites, to make your playlists, to find what you're looking for. You'll be full of sleepy holiday gratitude. But make sure you have your Sleep With Me Plus content set up. If you're listening to this message, you don't have it set up. This is a totally different podcast hosted by a totally different company than the company that hosts the Sleep With Me Plus content. So go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, log in, and set up your bonus content, or contact our support team so they can help you out. support@supercast.com. And you'll be so thankful you did. If you're curious about Sleep With Me Plus, check it out. You get a 7-day trial at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks, everybody. All right, but this is Scoots here. And I think last year Ray did this episode, but I'm feeling like I want to do it this year. And this is kind of dated material, like we do it a year or two after. But I have the flyer in my hand. My daughter and I went to, we love these autumnal events. What are they called? Avant-Garde autumnals, where a theme park, or there's a lot of local things. And, they put on these autumnal events where they interpret in an artistic way people's enjoyment of the autumnal season, or Halloween sometimes is particularly a focus. And we went, not now when I'm recording this after we went, but it'll come out well after we went to this, a year maybe or plus. But we went to Universal Orlando's Avant-Garde Autumnal Awesomeness, Evenings of Awesomeness. Is that what it's called? Autumnal Avant-Garde Evenings of Awesome. Maybe it's just Evenings of Awesome. I don't know. It's I don't know, but it's cool. They're actually doing one in Las Vegas in the future, like a year-round one. And this was our first time going to this. We went to that Knott's Autumnal Farm, and probably when you're hearing this, we'll be going to some, I don't know where, like California or Florida. And like Ray talks about, this was one of those ones where I was able to Max use this whole trip was made possible with planning around points and stuff. So I don't know. Should this be a full travel thing? We used points. We stayed 2 nights at the Orlando hotel. There's a hotel in the Orlando airport, and it was great. And it was actually for the points we used, really cool. But yeah, we went to this. I'll go through everything. I don't know how long it's going to take here. And this is definitely something you want to check out. They have themed food. They also have merch. We didn't do any merch. We did look at some merch because they have their tribute store. And one of the main characters is a pumpkin named Lil Boo, a kind of an icon. It's not on the front page of it. Oh, yeah, let's start at the front page. They do have, usually it's like a mix of ones they design, and then Universal, original creations by the team at Universal. And I've listened to podcasts about this and stuff like that. And we went on daylight tour, but that's not, none of this is, maybe it'll come up during it. I didn't take notes though. But Yeah, so this one had three different, on the cover it has the weekend in the center. The weekend, from the, Canada's finest, the weekend after hours, autumnal after hours. I mean, that one, talk about genius. That was one of the better, they were all excellent, but I would put the weekend one up there. I was only able to go through it once because it was so popular, but it was awesome. Then there was one from trying to think of how to explain it, but it's about carving of jack-o'-lanterns, which is a popular thing in these autumnal ones. But this one, it was like one of these competitions. We'll explain it, but that was another popular one. It's called Common Pumpkin Carvers because everybody dresses the same. So kind of like in Great British Bake Off, you don't know whose or whom is or whatever that show is with the dancers in disguise. What's that called? Nobody's Voice. Oh, it's Singers. The Hidden Voice or something like that. And then the third one was from films by Autumnal Blum Autumn by Blum. It's called, and it starts at 6:30. It goes until very early in the morning. So we were very tired. I remember that part. Okay, so we're gonna open the flyer. I mean, this isn't the flyer. This is the map and stuff. So they say, and I could talk about tips, actually, just in case anybody is going, though things change. They have their tips here. Come early, stay late. Wait times are longest during the middle of the evening events. Check out original content first, then catch the show. There's two shows. One was canceled, though. Forgot about the show. There's like a dance magic performance. It was excellent. Then the IP, what the movie music themed houses they call them. Then they had a lagoon show, but that was canceled because of the weather. Then head to the back of the park first. Work your way towards the front. Wait times on rides are much shorter. I don't think we went on any rides at all. So those are some tips. I'll give you my tips, though. So if you're going to the park during the day, we have annual passes for Universal. But so we were able to get in before the event started. It is a separate ticketed event, but you can scan your ticket. Well, explain it because it went at it was a very Scoots-like moment. But they call it you stay and have fun. Stay and have fun for autumn. So whatever, it starts at 6:30. I think the stay and have fun starts, I don't know what time the park closed, maybe at 5, maybe even 4:30. So you do have to read about this on the internet because it changes every year how this early stuff works. Or you could buy an early pass where you can get in to the park 2 hours before it closes, and then you could stay there and then scan in for this autumnal fun night. So that's the first thing. We did that. Let's see. So what we did was we had slept at the airport hotel and had breakfast. So we kind of took it leisurely because we got in late at night. So we kind of slept in, but not too far in because we were kind of excited. Then we ate breakfast at the airport hotel and then headed over to Universal. I don't know if we ever took a break. Trying to remember. I think because we had such a late start. I honestly don't know. But so we went to, we got into the park, we did some stuff, and then we got in line. This is all at Universal Studios, not Islands of Adventure. And so there's a couple places you can get in line. You get in line to scan your ticket, and then you get in line again to start getting in line for these autumnal homes, these houses of avant-garde autumn awesomeness. And this is where things went a little bit awry. Now, there's a lot of people imbibing heavily at this event, so just be prepared for that. And my daughter's like 15 at the time, but it was still a little bit, we were in line and but I can relate. I've been there throwing them down. But if you are if you think maybe like 15 is probably a good age because you say, hey, yeah, this is how your dad would behave that way a little bit. Not even anything extraordinary. I'm sure just people like talking loud or, you know what I'm saying? So we were in line with the, people that think like introverts or that suddenly become super friendly and talkative. That was what we had. So this one guy was talking our ear off. So we were in line near the waterfront, like near San Francisco and the Transformers ride and the New York area. And this was the big, where it didn't go well. The waiting in line part was fine, and we were pretty far back. I don't know, we didn't line up too early. Our timing ended up working out pretty good. So what happened was, and I cannot recommend this enough because it ended up really paying off. Because the wait times do get pretty busy, especially this was a Saturday night. So we were in line, but the problem is, and I don't so many, every ticket now is on your phone, right? And with that many people having to scan their tickets, it puts both the Wi-Fi and even the cell service under a bit of duress. And I don't know if there's great service there. So looking back on it, I should have taken screenshots of our tickets, which I did not do. So, of course, when we got to the front of the line, I had no service. I couldn't get service. And we had to get out of line. I had to walk around. Luckily, my daughter did hold our spot, where people were going by. So then we got back in line, we got in. But we did lose not just a second of time, but probably a few hundred people got in front of us. But the thing is, they let people into a closed off area where there's a bar. And then there's food stands that are in bars that are opening or getting ready to open. And then there's, I don't know if there was 2 lines or 3 lines. And there's 3 of these zones that you can get into early. And then you can line up for 1 or 2 autumnal awesomenesses ahead of time. So what we did was we went right to the line, the next line. And this is actually not that bad because it worked out really well. The only thing I would change differently is maybe having a snack with us or buying a snack right as we got ready to get in line and a drink. But other than that, it was gold. So then you get let into a temporary queue. And they're kind of cycling the queues, but it's a bit of a holding queue because they're still getting people out of the park and there's one-way traffic. But then you can sit down, at least on the ground. You sit on the ground or the curb or whatever, and then you wait. So this, I don't know what time this is. Let me see. I don't know if they have it in here. But let's just say now they don't guarantee what time the houses are going to open, but if we were going middle of the season, so we kind of had a general idea that one of the houses there was going to open at, I think the whole event opens at 6:30. I don't know if they start letting you into a house at 5:30 or 6, but you do get in early. And, eventually what happened is then they took us in a line for one of the houses, and it was one of the more popular houses because they start those lines. I think the weekend was another house, or maybe not though, but the weekend opened according to the internet. Again, this isn't official. This is information you had to gather on other people's experiences and triple check it. But this was the one with the pumpkin carving contest one. That was based on a very, very famous series of movies, and game, those movies about the game shows about pumpkin carving that everybody knows about, of course. So eventually they let us in line for that. And then we waited again. But again, that's fine. And then we were kind of keeping an eye on time, and we didn't know what was going to be 15. Was it, I don't know, and I don't know looking back on it, if it was 5:15, 5:30, 5:45, 6, or 6:15. But eventually they opened that autumnal awesome house, and then we got into that. And I'll talk more about that when I go through the guide here. But then when we got out of that one, we were able to get in line for another one. This is still before 6:30 or maybe even 6. And so we were able to do like, I can't remember now. I don't think we wrote it down either, but like at least 3 houses, if not 4 houses. I think we were able to get that side of the park done before it got really busy. So that really, really worked out well. So I highly recommend it. And you can kind of go by what houses you're most interested in going to, what's most popular, because that changes year to year. Okay, what else do you need to know? There is an express pass. We didn't get that. And there is, like, if you live in Orlando, they have different passes where you could go to the first 17 nights, go to every Sunday through Thursday events, plus the first weekend, all the Saturday through Friday events, plus the last Saturday night events, all the Sunday through Friday events. That's 36 nights, or every single night with free parking after 5 p.m. Okay, so, and they do have on the app the wait times. So they do have, in this, like, I got to tell you, like, I was unbelievably impressed with how, with everything. And you get to go backstage, but they have, like, the theming of stuff was cool, but they also have foods. Now, we were not super hungry. So I'm going to have to go through what foods we tried, but this doesn't have everything. But they have ice cream sandwich, cheese dog, twisted taters, fried chicken. Okay, so let's open it up here. Okay, so they don't have a lot. I may have to look up other stuff here to see what other stuff. But, you know, we can kind of go through this. Okay, so this is the map. And it has, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 houses of autumnal awesomeness. But then there's street zones where they're celebrating autumnal awesomeness, which were really amazing. And again, it's we went before the time had changed, so it was light out for a while. So we did experience a lot of these street fun in the streets during the day when the sun was out, and then at night, and even they were setting them up before as the park was closing. Okay, so let's just take a look and see if I can guess the order we did the stuff in. So first up was C, the common carving contest. So this one was cool. It was themed. According to this, those movies and show go back to 1978, where it all began. And the movies are like an interpretation of the game show. They're about the person that created the game show. So it's a fictional thing based on, well, it was a fictional game show, but then, you know, if you watch, you know, that reality channel or whatever it is, 841, you know, they put those repeats on now. You know, there's like light up your house, decorate that cake, and common carving. I mean, there's other pumpkin carving shows, but this is one where everybody dresses the same. And so the judges are watching them carve pumpkins and then voting on it. Just like I said, like a Great British Bake Off, where they don't know who made the stuff. And they're all supposed to make the same thing. Now, this one is a little bit different because it's themed to this house was more themed to the person creating the show. And what's cool is they kind of lay it out because they were like, it came from ideas from their childhood. So you're going through their childhood home and seeing their love of carving pumpkins and of Halloween and trick-or-treating, right? And, the person that invented it is Michaela Meyer. And Michaela, so she like loves like Halloween, like loves pumpkin carving. Then realizes that she had got because again this takes place in 76. So I don't even know in 76 what was a popular, but that was I think the era of like where we got into these mass market Halloween costumes that we covered years ago. Or maybe it wasn't, but so Michaela goes to school for Halloween costume, and she was so into pumpkin carving that she wasn't into making her own costume, and nobody in her family was. So what ends up happening is Michaela gets the costume Michaela gets ends up like she goes to school. This is all fiction, by the way, but so it plays out more, and like. Not only do like I think like 5 or 6 kids have the same costume as her on, and at first the kids are upset, but then they pretend they're twins. Like so, this is all shown as you go through. First, you're in her house, then you're walking to school, and you kind of see kids. Then you go into the classroom. Then you see the kids like tricking the teacher. Then. Michaela comes up with the idea in class, and everybody loves it because they actually like ended up having extra time because their Halloween party. Now in this one, they were doing popcorn sculptures. They were making like jack-o'-lanterns like out of popcorn. I don't know, with like corn syrup or something. Like I've never done it before. But that's where then Michaela actually like it's actually in the movie it's like it shows like then this like is somehow hiding in the anonymity helps Michaela come out of her shell to connect with the other kids. So then they even start a pumpkin like instead of a lemonade stand. You probably already know all this history. It's pretty well known for the film and then the game show or the reality show. But she starts to like the first pumpkin carving stand, like a lemonade stand. Her and her friends dress the same. And they even do like, now this was fictionalized because obviously it would take too long, but like they would do something where if you could guess which kid carved the jack-o'-lantern, you would get it for free. So anyway, like, so that like just a great house overall, really fun. Our first one full of fun surprises. Then, okay, let's see. So that was C. Those are the exits, the entrances. So C, D, or E, D or E, or B. What do we know? B, D, or E. Okay, so I think we went on B next. What is A? No, I don't know what we did next. I mean, I know. Okay, so I think we did D and E back to back because at some point we did B, but I think B we had to wait in a different line. So yeah, that sounds right. So, okay, let's kind of go through this. So we went on D and E next. Now D was like a fiesta, like a Day of the Dead celebration. And it was very well themed. Like it had sound effects. It had like it smelled like, people were baking and stuff like that. There was these really cool villages that were set there. So it's very immersive, like you're going there to celebrate that day, and so there's a lot of papel picado, sugar skulls, all that kind of stuff, and it's just kind of an immersive experience. I'll be honest, like we went through it twice. I'm pretty sure, not in a row. But maybe we did. No, okay, so we switched back and forth. But so, yeah, we went, anyway, I'm not exactly sure, but, and I'm not sure the order of these two, but the next one is like, to be like the highest tier, the highest of the highest tiers. So, so it's just cool. It was very good set design, pretty cool, good sound design. There's even like fireworks, like sound effects and images. So you felt like, and it just felt like cool because you're just in a sound stage and you just feel, and some of them are inside tents, but you feel like you're really immersed. But I don't remember much more about it. But the next one was called, Winter's Wake. And this one was pretty well hyped. But the set design and the storytelling, it got talked about a lot. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they will ever reuse it. But this one, it was a unique idea. I guess it's like a part of a story that was told at other events. But this is my first one. So this takes place this is again in a soundstage, just so you know. It's wintertime. So a winter storm has come in to interrupt the autumnal season in early winter. And it's like a New England fishing village on Halloween when people want to be trick-or-treating. And it's like really, really cold. And it's tough to explain the concept, but basically the town bonds together so some sort of supernatural storm. And that's kind of like fantastical. And they do have like sound effects, rain and wind and fake snow effects. And they have this like violinist playing. There's like a lighthouse. This is like a multi-story walkthrough, or at least the elevation changes. So you're going up and down, and indoors and outdoors. But the goal of the story is that a town bonded together because the town was just one of those towns that loved Halloween. I think Halloween's pretty popular in New England. And they said, we're not and all the kids were like, it was like there was a wind chill and everything. So the kids were like, we won't be able to trick or treat. This is like devastating. Because they didn't know it was a supernatural. Well, they suspected it was a supernatural storm, but they didn't know because there's a violinist playing, she's playing against this winter storm. So if you read subtextually, like maybe she's some sort of positive supernatural being battling whatever force is creating this storm on the town. But anyway, go to the plot is basically the town bonds together and it tries to interlink. So it's like a pretty, like one of those towns like out of the movies, because I guess it's fictional, right? Where it's like not a Western town, but there's a downtown with shops, but not everything's connected, but they like build connections so that you could stay warm and go from building to building. So they have just indoor trick-or-treating. And then, they cut holes in walls so you could go from the saloon to the barber shop to Miss Hannigan's dance studio to like storage for the people that because there's even like a sea diving company, boat repair, an old boat. Like they take everything they can and like build passageways and stuff so the kids don't have to be exposed to elements and they can still trick or treat. And you're a kid trick-or-treating, so you put yourself in that same thing. Now, they don't actually have candy because they're trying to maintain this, they keep it clean, and so many people are passing through. But so you pretend, and they're pretending to see, oh, welcome to the, oh, what are you? And they have to improv. So they're like, oh, a kitty cat. Oh, and you could say what you are. But I don't think you're allowed, you can't, some people dress up for the whole event, so then they're dressed up, so it makes it easy. But you can't cover your face anyway, because obviously people are, or maybe you just can wear outfits. I don't know. But it really feels like you're a kid trick-or-treating. And there's a lot of just it's set, I don't know what year it's set in, but it's not set in the present day. So it just feels so cool because you're like trick-or-treating. I don't know. And there's wind and storms and the things are rattling. And cold air and the violinist and the rain. And then there's just this lighthouse you can see from different parts of this, like, walkthrough. So it's just amazing. I mean, it was absolutely probably one of the most immersive things I've been in. So that was cool. So that was 1, 2, 3. I thought there was a third one. Oh, C, D, and E. Okay, no, C was the pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern. D, okay. E. So those three we went on. I think we probably went on Winter's Wake twice in a row because there was no waits at this point. Then we ran over to get in line for B. And there was a line forming, but so the park had still not opened formally. And we got in a static line for B, which was opening. I'm pretty sure this is what happened. But yeah, so B, what's A though? Maybe you think that line was for A? Maybe. Okay, so I don't actually know, but we went on both these B and A next. One of them may have had no wait. Maybe B had no wait, and we went on that fast, and then we went and got in line for A, but whatever. We got in a static line, and we were able to do B and A on the map I'm just looking at. Sorry, I'll name them now. And the first one was called, this was an interesting concept, and there was a different style concept. So I feel like this is one that I could compare to Knott's and say that the one at Knott's was a little bit, so Knott's had both these concepts separately where Universal had both of them combined together. So Knott's had like a speakeasy zone where people were like where it was like the 1920s. Like an autumnal fun zone, and then they had a house with like spellcasters, toil, boil, and bubble, and then so Universal had a house called Spirits of the Coven, and it was like a very high concept. Flat, they even called it flapper spellcasters. So imagine Lady Witchbeard as a flapper, and it's a 1920s speakeasy. And I don't know if I guess that's during Prohibition, right? Because so they're having their Halloween speakeasy party, but you go through but they're also kind of the teetotalers. So it's like you're caught in the middle of like a play, basically, of they're trying to run their business and have their Halloween party, which also happens to be the anniversary. I don't know if anyone, I think you slowly gets revealed that they're spellcasters like Lady Witchbeard. It's not revealed right away, but you know it going in anyway. You know, which is hard, you know, I mean, no, you can't really go into any of these not knowing anything. I mean, I guess maybe my daughter knew very little, but maybe not. I think she actually watched all the walkthroughs first. I don't know if she did. Well, it doesn't matter. So, it's a pretty cool story. It's just, for some reason, like laying over the 1920s bootlegger on top of spellcasters. Like, I don't know, there's just something about it, but it was really cool. So you go through their whole production area, you go through that, and they get, you know, they come in, they say this, you know, and then they're like, we got to throw all this away. But then it slowly gets revealed that they have powers, you know. And, but in the end, the moral is, but we mostly have the power to change your mind. And you could have fun with us, whether you're teetotaler or not. And they mostly do that by actually making tea, because that's like the big sequence at the end is this largest cauldron you've ever seen. Or what is that what it's called? Cauldron? Whatever thing is where they toil, boil, and bubble. And you're watching as the teetotalers, along with the, like the feds or whatever. I mean, this part was a little bit sleep with me because they go in and and they say, what is this? Blah, blah. And they say, here, have a glass. It's tea. And then a person makes a speech from the top, like the overhang, and she's making a speech about tea and what King George, and then whatever amendments. I don't know. You kind of lost me, but it was more historical fiction. And I don't know, when you don't drink anymore, I guess maybe that's like I say, okay, like maybe I took that out on that. Okay, so the next one is called, this one was cool. It was like Intergalactic Planetary Pet Shop, Intergalactic Planetary Pet Shop A. And this is the last one on this side of the park. And again, we're going through these by 6:30. We were either in line for this one or going through it, getting these two done. And I'm pretty sure we had gone on repeats of at least E, but if the Winter's Wake. But this one, so the Intergalactic Planetary Pet Shop is exactly what you would do, except that they're like they've never heard of Halloween or autumn because they're in outer space where there's no seasons. And what happens, this is a prequel. They actually have a little bit as you're waiting in line and stuff, which is cool because they have rights to all these specials, like animated specials. What happened was like there was like some sort of like, I don't know, it was something similar to a solar flare that jammed. So this is like in the intergalactic planetary stuff, this is the only pet shop for this part of the galaxy. But some sort of thing has happened where they can only, their systems are jammed and the only thing they can watch are autumnal animated specials. But this is everything. Like when you're streaming, you say, I wonder, was there ever a Tom and Jerry Halloween episode? And they say, yeah, there was, because I found a Super Friends one. I mean, it was kind of on like HBO Max, I think, by accident even, I think. But whatever, like... So you said that's all they can consume. So they've decided, and again, this is like the scale of it is hard to imagine as an earthling because you like, like once upon a time there was mall pet shops. Now there's the genre ones. I just passed a bird shop on a walk the other day. I mean, this was in a specific area, part of Berkeley. So like, it's like a very specific, but nowadays there's only like big brand pet shops for the most part. And actually this is not just one pet shop, which is cool. Like it's different. It's kind of like a pet shop mall for the galaxy, but it's independent pet shops within, cause you say, oh, like I'm looking for a klaxon, and they'd say a feathered klaxon or a featherless klaxon. You say, oh boy, go down to Klaxons, and say, okay, great. So this whole, whatever you want to call it, intergalactic planetary pet shop, it has been consuming this Halloween stuff, and they know the Earth date of Halloween. So they've decided to have a huge Halloween celebration, mostly dressing up pets. So kind of like a pet, because that's their lives, right, is pets, and like a lot of pet training goes on there. I mean, it's a whole pet culture, it's like the pet-based PBE, pet-based economy. So they're having this huge autumnal festival, and there are children and stuff, but most of these people, like their lives are dedicated to pet-based commerce. So they're putting on, that's it. You just go through the space station, you see all these cute, different space, imaginary creatures dressed up in costumes. Amazing. So that was that one. Next, I know we went to the Universal, the Friends of Universal, famous friends from films, because that and Weekend were the next two most popular. So we went to that one, and that was like, it was cool because, we didn't watch it this year, and it's not Laurel and Hardy, it's Abbott and Costello. And so this one kind of follows that kind of basic theme of Abbott and Costello meeting these famous film friends from Universal Films. And so you see them, and the conceit is that Abbott and Costello have accidentally acquired some sort of gem that has all this power. And they're going through like this exploration site, and the person wrapped in cloth, Wolfie Poo, and I'll never have garlic breath. They all are trying to get it convince. So they're all trying to get them, talk to them, give them gifts, or have dance offs. It ends up like kind of devolving into basic humor in a good way, where first Abbott says, well, I want you to do this. So they each have a grand buffet. Then Costello says, well, I'd rather see you do this. Then there's another scene where they're like, tell me a joke. So you go into like a comedy club. And there's even like acrobatics in this one. I think there was one or two other ones where there's acrobatics, which was amazing. So that was that one. Then we had The Weekend, which we went on later, but that's over on that side. So I'll just go through it. I don't think I can even, it's like a concept album, and then it's an autumnal awesome adventure based on a concept album based on like, so basically it's cool. I mean, I guess the simple thing is like you're going into The Weekend's imagination, and everything's in everything. I wish I could have gone through this like 10 times because everything's synced to the songs. I love After Hours. Love The Weekend. I love pop music. I love surreal. So this one is very surreal and very imaginary. I mean, I don't even know too much about how they broke the ideas for this and stuff. Other than to say, there's probably videos on it. If they ever put it anywhere else again, definitely go to it because it is absolutely amazing. And it's just called Autumnal After Hours. But it's like fully immersive. I just can't put it to description other than to say it was number one or number two. Winter's Wake and The Weekend, and then the Abbott and Costello with the Universal Friend. I mean, all of them were really good, but the Weekend one was just like, and maybe it was also like that definitely could only do it once. I mean, you could have waited. I mean, but I think the wait. I mean, at the end of the night, I think we waited to go on it. Okay, what else do we have here? I think we only have two left, and then we got to go through the street fun. Okay, so let's see. The next one was called called Autumnal Ant Farm, and this one was interesting in the sense that this one was a little bit more like a challenge, like a little bit more where you take an active role. But it's also like where you're finding your way. So you're basically pretending you're an ant in an autumnal ant farm, but you're in there. So you're kind of going through the things. Don't worry, it feels like totally spacious. But you can even, there's like giant candy corns that you could carry. And it's kind of like a treasure hunt. Like you can find stuff. They give you a little guide. And you're saying, what can you find in this autumnal ant farm? Or can you get, there's different, and there's enough stuff that everybody going through could have stuff to do. So that was cool. Then there was, I would have never thought of this one. But this one, the next one is a public transit-based, particularly New York City well, it doesn't say New York, because in this one it does. But actually there they said, we can't say it's New York City. Or maybe they just couldn't name the actual trains, like the D train wins again and again. But this one is called, I don't know what, I'm trying to think of the way to describe what it was called. Public transit, autumn fun? Had a different name that I forgot, and I can't read it on this. But so it basically, again, it has a story to it. So you're starting off, there's a bus you enter through, kids are waiting on the bus to go to different places to go trick-or-treating. But then what happens is it's kind of a similar, but a little bit, I mean, it's totally different than Winter's Wake, but conceptually it's a little bit similar because there's, what happens is everybody's on the subway, but the subways aren't running. So they have like on the subway trains and in between them, like you could walk and they're well lit and everything. So you'd walk, because I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but you're like, man, I'd like to walk from one station to the other and just see how long it is. And they have trick-or-treat stations set up. Now, this one actually did have real candy, but you keep it in this, they give you a zip bag with a Ziploc bag. And so you kind of just go through there. That was a really cool one. I mean, because they built all that stuff from scratch, so it really feels like the subway trains look so real. Okay, then there was the show. At some point in there, we went to the show, which was like dance, pyro, and some really cool magic. And it was about a guy dreaming. And he's dreaming of all this dance, and that one was very surreal and set to music. The level of dancing was absolutely incredible. And let's see, with the last few minutes, I'll give you some of the fun zones. So the different zones, there was a pumpkin surprise, which had which was just like when you walk in and there's like someone making a speech, the queen of pumpkins, and she's making a speech about everything you can do about pumpkins. And that's where you could find a hidden little boo. Then there was Major Sweets, which, that was the best one in my opinion, but it was very themed to, maybe the 1950s. And Major Sweets is sponsoring. So they had actual floats just for this fun zone. So it's like Major Sweets is like a character who runs a candy company. So Willy Wonka, and it's like they're sponsoring a whole festival. And this was like with kids before there was mass market costumes. So the kids have these giant paper mache costumes or homemade stuff. Absolutely. And just very rich in character. There's like Major Sweets gets an award from the mayor. There's candy, there's, food booths with stuff themed to it. Everything's branded, like, so it just feels like you're immersed in a Willy Wonka type of situation. Then there was one, Conjuring Autumnal Fun. And that one was like pretty cool because it's like, there was a lot of fog and like a whole set where there was a magician conjuring autumnal fun, so making stuff disappear, making a piece of candy corn go from small to gigantic, and then it starts dancing. But again, you had to see it. You were like, I see it. I still don't believe it. It's so amazing. Then on the other side of the park was called Farmtown Autumnal Fun. So it was a farm. And you get invited, you even go through their barn, and people are making costumes out of corn husks, and there's a lot of farm smells, but not like fun farm smells. And there's square dancers and friendly scarecrows and just really immersive set. That was cool. And then there was another one towards the entrance on one side that we went through a few times. And that was called, interesting. It was called Friends on the Rainbow Bridge. Now, because they already had a farm one, I guess they couldn't do big farm in the sky. So it was like a rainbow bridge. And there wasn't actual, there was like people and they're like enjoying themselves on the rainbow bridge. And you get to go over it because it goes towards the entrance. So whether you're coming in that way or you're exiting, they're saying goodbye, or they're saying, welcome to our celebration. Take the Rainbow Bridge to eternal autumnal fun. And they said, don't worry about us. We'll be enjoying Halloween when we want to all the time. So it's just a cool one, but the Rainbow Bridge is like really well designed. And it was a lot of fun. And yeah, that was the last thing on there. Amazing. I highly recommend it. If you plan it out for next year, I guess. Really immersive, and you could always go in your imagination like I do. But I mean, I go to these, but it's cool to have like a co-pilot, at least one person that's really into it with you too. So I appreciate that my daughter's into it, and that we could go together and share it, share in the autumnal joy. And I'm really looking forward to what they have next, or some of these other parks have next. Good night, everybody. All right, everybody, this is Scoots. I wanted to thank some people that supported sponsors or sleep phones and filled out the form at Sleep With Me podcast. Couldn't do without all those people that did that. Sleep phones is a merch, so they're not they're not technically a sponsor, but it is a help when you buy merch and stuff like that. So I want to thank Michael, Michelle, and Amanda, and Molly. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Patty, David, and Rebecca. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Savannah, Rachel, and Mary Lou. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Abby Ann, Sandy, and April. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Rosenberg, Martha, and Chris. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. And Jake, Katie, and Tova. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. And Layla and Faith. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Couldn't do without all the listeners like you. Really appreciate it. Thanks so much. And here's if you free way to support the show is just to let people know about the podcast. And if you let people know about the podcast, take the time to fill out the form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. And I'll send you a thank you video, because spreading the word, letting people know about the podcast is a gigantic help as well. So thanks so much and good night.